Cape Town, where mountains meet ocean. A travel guide by PalapaVibez.com. It is one of the most spectacularly positioned cities on Earth. This is your complete guide to Cape Town. Let's get into it.
Cape Town sits at the southern tip of Africa where the Atlantic and Indian Oceans meet, wedged between Table Mountain and the cold, brilliant waters of the Atlantic coast. The metro population is approximately 4.7 million people, and the city is one of 3 capital cities of South Africa, serving as the seat of parliament and the legislative capital. The climate is Mediterranean, warm, dry summers from November through March, with temperatures in the high 20s and long golden evenings, and cool, wet winters from June through August that bring rain, lush green landscapes, and dramatically lower hotel rates. Summer is peak season for good reason, but winter has its advocates too. Storm watching from a seaside restaurant with a glass of South African Chenin Blanc is one of the more underrated travel experiences on the continent.
The South African Rand makes Cape Town exceptional value for international travelers. World-class restaurants, luxury hotels, and extraordinary wine all cost a fraction of what equivalent experiences would in London, New York, or Sydney. That value gap is one of the most significant practical advantages this destination offers, and it shapes how far a budget goes here at every level. English is widely spoken across the city. Afrikaans dominates in the Winelands. isiXhosa is the first language of many Capetonians. A few words in either Afrikaans or isiXhosa will be met with genuine delight. Table Mountain is Cape Town's anchor, a 1,085-meter flat-top sentinel that is visible from virtually everywhere in the city and has been recognizable to sailors rounding the Cape for centuries. The revolving cable car whisks you to the summit in 5 minutes, with 360-degree views of the city, the coastline, and on clear days, all the way to Robben Island. Hikers have dozens of route options ranging from the straightforward Platte Gorge Trail to more demanding scrambles on the mountain's face. One important note: the mountain creates its own weather, and conditions change rapidly. Check the cable car status before you go, and if you hike, be prepared for sudden mist and wind. Robben Island is an essential experience and a deeply moving one. The UNESCO World Heritage Site where Nelson Mandela spent 18 of his 27 years in prison sits in Table Bay and is accessible by ferry from the V&A Waterfront. Tours are led by former political prisoners whose first-hand accounts of life on the island carry an emotional weight that no documentary or book can replicate.
Kirstenbosch National Botanical Garden drapes across Table Mountain's eastern slopes and showcases the Fynbos biome, one of only 6 floral kingdoms on Earth, found almost exclusively in the Western Cape.
The tree canopy walkway curves through the treetops, and the annual summer sunset concerts held on the lawns with the mountain lit behind the stage are one of the most beloved Cape Town experiences among locals and visitors alike.
Boulders Beach in Simonstown is where a colony of African penguins has made its permanent home between weathered granite boulders and white sand. They are completely unbothered by human visitors, and watching them waddle to the water, argue over nesting spots, and surf the small waves is the kind of joy that requires no explanation. Arrive before 10 in the morning to beat the crowds.
And Cape Point, the dramatic southwestern tip of the peninsula reached via the extraordinary Chapman's Peak Coastal Drive, is where the lighthouse stands above cliffs that drop straight into churning ocean. The drive itself is one of the most scenic coastal roads in the world. Budget a full day for the peninsula, including Boulders Beach and Cape Point together. Cape Town's food scene punches absurdly above its weight and has been doing so consistently for over a decade.
The Test Kitchen in Woodstock, helmed by chef Luke Dale Roberts, built a reputation on hyper-seasonal tasting menus that have surprised even the most well-traveled palates. Its influence on the city's culinary identity is difficult to overstate. The generation of chefs it trained and inspired is now running some of the best tables in the country. La Colombe sits in the Constantia vineyard belt with French-Asian fusion cuisine built on produce. You can see growing from your table, it consistently ranks among the world's best restaurants in the setting. Vines, mountain slopes, and the smell of the winelands makes every dish taste like it belongs specifically to that place. Kloof Street House occupies a Victorian manor on one of the city's liveliest streets with inventive cocktails, shared plates, and a garden courtyard that fills on weekends. Harbour House in Kelt Bay serves the catch brought in by the fishing boats you can watch through the dining room window, the definition of farm to table but for the ocean. And wine is simply inescapable here. Gloriously so. 40 minutes from the city center, the winelands of Stellenbosch and Franschhoek pour world-class Chenin Blanc, Pinotage, and Bordeaux style blends against mountain backdrops at cellar doors that often include pairing menus rivaling any standalone restaurant. A Winelands day trip is not optional, it is the point.
One and only Cape Town occupies a private island within the V&A Waterfront Marina with Table Mountain framed in every window. The Nobu restaurant, the spa island, and the standard of service across the property make leaving it almost unnecessary on a short trip. Almost.
The Belmont Mount Nelson has been Cape Town's grande dame since 1899. A colonial pink mansion set in manicured gardens in the heart of the city bowl, it radiates old-world elegance with afternoon tea that has been a Cape Town institution for generations. The kind of hotel that makes you feel the city's history the moment you walk through the gates. The Silo Hotel sits above the Zeitz Museum of Contemporary Art Africa in a converted grain silo. Its distinctive pillowed glass windows making it one of the most recognizable silhouettes on the waterfront. 28 individually designed rooms with museum-quality art pieces throughout.
Ellerman House on the slopes of Bantry Bay offers 13 rooms, a contemporary art collection, a wine gallery, and terraced gardens overlooking the Atlantic. The most intimate and private luxury experience in the city. Cape Town International Airport connects the city to London, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Dubai, and Singapore on direct long-haul routes. From London, the flight runs about 11 hours. From Dubai, approximately 8 hours. From Amsterdam, 11, and Singapore, 13 hours. The airport sits 20 kilometers from the city center, roughly 20 minutes outside peak hours. Uber and Bolt are the most convenient transfers, with fares to the city bowl running approximately 250 to 350 South African Rand. The MyCity bus offers an affordable alternative connecting the airport to the Civic Center station downtown. Car rental is strongly recommended for anything beyond the city itself. The Cape Peninsula, the Winelands, and the Garden Route all reward having your own vehicle completely. Drive on the left. Petrol stations are full service with attendants, tip 5 to 10 Rand. Book your rental before you arrive, especially during peak summer season.
For domestic connections, frequent flights link Cape Town to Johannesburg in 2 hours with budget carriers, FlySafair, and Lyft keeping fares competitive on that corridor.
Here are a few things that will genuinely matter on this trip.
Cape Town is generally safe for tourists in the main areas. The waterfront, City Bowl, Atlantic Seaboard, and southern suburbs see millions of visitors annually. Standard precautions apply. Use Uber or Bolt rather than hailing random taxis. Do not display valuables in less familiar areas, and avoid walking alone in isolated spots after dark.
But the vast majority of visits are completely incident-free. Load shedding, scheduled power outages, remains a reality in South Africa. Hotels and restaurants have generators and inverters, so your experience is rarely directly affected. Download the Eskom Stellenbosch app before you arrive for real-time outage schedules so you can plan accordingly. Sun protection is genuinely non-negotiable. The UV index in the Cape regularly exceeds 11 during summer. The combination of altitude, sea reflection, and ozone conditions over the southern hemisphere makes sunburn deceptively fast. SPF 50 or higher, reapplied after swimming, every single day. Water conservation matters here. Cape Town came dangerously close to running out of municipal water in 2018, and conservation remains a civic duty. 2-minute showers are the local norm, and most hotels encourage towel reuse. Tap water is completely safe to drink. And bring a universal plug adapter. South Africa uses its own distinctive Type M3 prong configuration that most international adapters do not cover by default. Cape Town sits at the intersection of 2 oceans, a dozen cultures, and one impossibly dramatic mountain, and it wears that complexity beautifully. The natural setting, the food and wine, the history, the warmth of its people, and the sheer variety of what a single week here can contain make it one of the most rewarding destinations on Earth.
Those people who visit leave already planning when they are coming back. That is the most honest thing that can be said about it.
When you are ready to plan your trip, search flights and hotels at PalapaVibez.com. The link is in the description. We will help you find the best deal and get you there.
If this video helped you, like, subscribe, and follow for more travel guides every week. And drop a comment below. Is it Table Mountain, the penguins, the winelands, or the food scene that makes Cape Town most interesting to you? We read every single comment and would love to know what puts this city on your list.